Try to remember your second birthday. Go ahead. The cake. The face is leaning over you. The feeling of being lifted into the air. You can't, can you? There's nothing there. Just a blank where the first few years of your whole life are supposed to be. And that is deeply strange when you actually stop and think about it. Because those years were not quiet. You learned to walk. You learned to talk. You figured out who your mother was, what fire was, that you were a separate person from everyone else in the room. It was the single most explosive stretch of learning you will ever do in your life. And you remember none of it. This is not a glitch in your particular memory. It happens to almost every human who has ever lived, in every culture on Earth. It even has a name. And by the time we're done, I'm going to show you something almost nobody realizes, that a part of you remembers all of it anyway. Stay with me, because the ending changes everything. But first, let's kill the obvious answer. You might think, I just wasn't old enough to make memories yet. And that is completely wrong. Babies make memories constantly. It's the only reason they can learn anything at all. A 6-month-old can remember how to make a toy spin days later. A toddler clearly remembers their home, their bed, the word for dog. So the memories were absolutely being made. Which means the real mystery is so much weirder than you were too young. The mystery is, where did they go? The first person to seriously chase this was Sigmund Freud in 1899. He noticed his patients almost never had memories before the age of 6 or 7, and he gave it a name that we still use today, childhood amnesia. Freud's theories about why were mostly nonsense. But the question he asked is one science is only now finally cracking. And the answer comes down to 3 things that had to happen to erase those years. The first is about a missing piece of your brain. The second is genuinely disturbing. And the third one will quietly change the way you see who you are. Let's take them in order. Reason 1 is hiding deep in the center of your head, in a small curved structure called the hippocampus. Think of it as the librarian of your mind. It doesn't hold your memories forever. Its job is to take a fleeting experience and file it into long-term storage with a label. This happened to me here at this time. And when you were a baby, that librarian had not shown up for work yet. The hippocampus is one of the last parts of the brain to finish wiring itself. So you were having rich, vivid experiences pour in, but the part of you that turns an experience into a permanent, findable file was still under construction. The library was wide open. There was just no one there to catalog the books. But that alone doesn't explain it. Because here's where it gets genuinely unsettling. Reason 2. Your baby brain wasn't only failing to save those memories. It was actively destroying them. On purpose. And once you hear why, you'll never think of a baby's brain the same way again. In 2014, 2 neuroscientists named Paul Franklin and Sheena Jocelyn discovered something that turns the whole story upside down. In your first years of life, your brain is manufacturing new neurons at an absolutely furious rate, especially in that same hippocampus. For a long time, we assumed more brain cells could only ever be good. But it turns out that flooding the system with new neurons physically tears apart the older connections, the exact circuits that were holding your earliest memories in place. Picture a city growing so fast that every new road paves straight over the old ones. The same explosion of growth that made you a superhuman learning machine was wiping the tape clean as it recorded. Your brain literally traded your memories for the speed it needed to build you. So the librarian was missing, and the brain was erasing itself as it grew. But there's a third reason, and it's the most human of the 3. Because to remember your life, you first need a you for it to be happening too. Think about how your real memories actually feel. They're a little story, and you are the main character. I was at the beach. I felt the sand. I was scared of the wave. Every memory is glued to a sense of self, but a newborn doesn't have one yet. You were not born knowing you were a person, separate from the world, with a name, a past, a future. And we can actually watch the exact moment that switches on. There's a famous experiment called the mirror test. You dab a small spot of rouge on a child's nose and sit them in front of a mirror. A young baby just thinks they're seeing another baby. But somewhere around 18 months, something clicks. The child reaches up and touches their own nose. In that instant, they understand, that's me. And it is no coincidence that this is right around when our very first scraps of real memory tend to begin. Then language shows up and pours gasoline on the whole thing. Carol Peterson, a researcher who has studied children's memories for decades, found that the point where lasting memories finally start sticking lands, on average, around age 3.5, exactly when kids gain enough language to narrate their own lives. The moment you can say, "Today we went to grandma's and I saw a dog," your brain finally has a hook to hang an experience on. Before words, the events had nowhere to live, so they didn't. So there are your 3 reasons. The librarian wasn't hired yet. The brain was paving over its own roads as it grew. And there wasn't yet a you, with a self and the words to tell its story, for any of it to stick to. The blank stops being a mystery. But this is the part one really came here to tell you, and it flips everything you just learned on its head. Because just because you can't remember those years does not mean they're gone. There are 2 completely different kinds of memory. There's the kind you can deliberately call up, your 10th birthday, your first day of school. But running underneath it, silent and constant, is a second kind. It doesn't come back as a picture or a story. It comes back as a feeling. The way being held makes you feel safe. The one voice that can calm you down instantly. The deep, wordless sense of whether the world is a place that catches you when you fall, or one that lets you drop. Every bit of that was written in exactly the years you cannot remember. You lost the moments, but you kept everything they taught you. Your earliest experiences weren't saved as memories you can replay. They were saved as you. The trust you give, the fears you can't explain, the way you love people. The blank isn't empty at all. It's the foundation, buried so deep you stand on it every single day without ever once seeing it. So here's the reframe. We assume a forgotten experience is a wasted one. If you can't remember it, what was the point? But your first years are living proof that's a lie. They were the most important years of your entire life, and you can't recall a single second of them. They shaped you anyway. They built the exact person who is listening to this right now. And that should change how you feel about every moment you're sure you'll forget. The ordinary Tuesday, the quiet conversation, the 1,000 small kindnesses that never make it into a memory you can replay. You won't remember most of your life, the same way you don't remember being 2. But just like then, it isn't vanishing. It's becoming you. So the next time you reach for your 2nd birthday and find nothing there, don't think of it as something you lost. Think of it as proof. Proof that the most important things that ever happened to you don't have to be remembered to last. You were loved long before you could remember being loved. And somewhere underneath all of it, in a place too deep for words, you have never once forgotten how that felt.